Welcome to Tokyo Wave, recorded in a live studio in Harajuku, Japan, with your hosts Aaron and Parker. Alright everyone, welcome to episode 91 of Tokyo Wave. We're your hosts Aaron Randall
and Parker Allen. Today we are joined again by akiya hunter and black metal warlock Matt Ketchum.
On Tokyo Wave, we bring you weekly updates from our studio in Harajuku.
Join us in segments featuring this week's top news,
political happenings,
business,
and other random stuff.
To get us started, here are this week's top news highlights.
Over 70 Japanese apply to become volunteer soldiers in Ukraine, including former self-defense force members.
Tokyo District Court hands ex-Nissan executive Greg Kelly 6-month suspended sentence.
Japan nonprofit creates endangered animal line stamps to raise awareness. This week in Japan.
All right, let's get started. Here's our top news item this week. Over 70 Japanese applied to become volunteer soldiers in Ukraine, including former self-defense force members.
The Mainichi has reported that over 70 Japanese nationals have applied to become volunteer foreign soldiers in Ukraine in its conflict with Russia, which was revealed by officials connected with the Embassy of Ukraine in Japan.
All of the volunteers so far are male, and many were soldiers in Japan's self-defense forces. Among reasons reportedly given for putting their names forward were, quote, "If young people in Ukraine are to die, then I will fight." That sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, it does. On February 27th, Ukrainian President Zelensky announced the formation of a foreign legion comprising volunteers from abroad. On the same day, the Embassy of Ukraine in Japan posted a message on Twitter calling for, quote, "people who wish to fight together."
According to a source close to a private firm in Tokyo entrusted by the embassy with gathering volunteers, applications from around 70 people had been received by the night of March the 1st, and about 50 of those are former self-defense force members. 2 of the volunteers also reportedly have experience in the French Foreign Legion.
Ukraine intends to pay individuals who serve, but the embassy's tweet uses the term volunteers. The source connected with the embassy said that many putting their names forward did so with pure motivations, and said they offered reasons including that, quote, "being in Japan, I can't be much help, but I want to do something to help."
The Japanese government has assigned all of Ukraine with travel warning level 4, the highest classification, which calls for people to evacuate the area immediately. At a March 1st press conference, Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi emphasized, quote, "We are aware that the Embassy of Ukraine in Japan is making such calls for volunteer soldiers, but regardless of the aim, we ask that people do not travel to Ukraine."
Unless you want to go full Rambo and kick some ass.
Dun dun dun!
The embassy will decide whether or not to actually dispatch volunteer soldiers in discussions with the Japanese government, and it is possible they would be tasked with humanitarian aid and other roles.
So basically, the J-Team is on the way to the rescue, probably traversing the Gobi Desert right now in a Land Cruiser with nothing but sharp knives and lots of cigarettes.
Team Japan, fuck yeah!
But seriously though, can we call them the J-Team?
Why not? It sounds badass. I mean, if a lot of these guys were, former self-defense forces, there's another way to put it. I think they're looking to go over there and kick some ass.
Yeah, I mean, especially given that Japan's self-defense force, obviously given that the Constitution bars self-defense forces from really engaging in actual combat, except for in extremely limited circumstances. Aaron, you might be exactly right. They're like, we learned how to kick ass. We didn't get to kick any ass. We want to go kick some ass.
Yeah. The UK is also seeing a lot of volunteers move over to Ukraine, and they're already there training. So, yeah, I think
they're gonna need to train fast.
Yeah, I think as things heat up, and I think we're going to see more and more people volunteering to go help Ukraine, whether that's in a military capacity or a civilian capacity, because a lot of people do want to help and make a difference, and it's extremely difficult. It's difficult to see this happening in real time, and for some who feel the call to action, it's impossible to do anything unless they're there. So I see this trend increasing for sure over the next few weeks or months, or however long this invasion lasts.
And I am a bit curious as how Japan will change its rhetoric as the situation evolves, given that, of course, Japan is already engaged in its common stance of checkbook diplomacy, making a $100 million donation to aid Ukraine, but not, of course, sending any sort of military-related things, as that's not something that Japan does. But as the situation gets worse, will increasing calls come for Japan to do something more?
All right, and up next, Tokyo District Court hands ex-Nissan exec Greg Kelly 6-month suspended sentence.
Kyoto News has reported that former Nissan Motor executive Greg Kelly was given a 6-month suspended prison sentence on March the 3rd for helping former CEO Carlos Ghosn underreport his remuneration for fiscal 2017. But the Tokyo District Court acquitted him on all other counts over its financial reports covering the previous 7 years.
The Tokyo District Court found the former Nissan representative director guilty, handing him the sentence, suspended for 3 years, for falsifying the automaker's financial report for the year ended in March 2018.
The ruling, which is seen as an effective defeat for prosecutors, has set the stage for Greg Kelly to return home from Japan after he was arrested more than 3 years ago. The prosecutors had sought a 2-year prison term for Kelly, who was Ghosn's right-hand man.
Kelly will appeal the suspended sentence, with his team of lawyers saying he is completely innocent. In a statement in Japanese, Kelly said he was shocked to hear the ruling and cannot understand why the court convicted him on one of the counts.
Kelly said regarding the ruling, quote, "I have consistently acted in the best interests of Nissan, and there is no fact at all that I have been involved in an unlawful act."
The prosecutor said it is regrettable the court rejected part of their argument and that they will consider whether to appeal after reviewing the ruling.
Carlos Ghosn also commented on the ruling, calling the judgment a, quote, save-faced verdict for the prosecutors and other Nissan executives that he accuses of colluding against him, Kelly, and all shareholders.
Ghosn said in a Zoom call with a small group of reporters, quote, "I am relieved for Greg and his family."
An interesting twist to this case, as a lot of people expected the prosecutors to get away with giving Kelly a prison sentence.
For sure. And also, this is a name we haven't heard in a while. Where is Ghosn right now anyways?
He's in Beirut.
Oh, really? Okay. So he's been there since he escaped, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so obviously Japan wants to get him back into the country so they can try him, but he has no intention of coming back to Japan, so
yeah.
Good luck with that.
One of the new business visa applications, Carlos Ghosn. Wonder how they would react to that.
Well, I hope they don't hire the J team, because they seem pretty committed.
All right, and up next, Japan nonprofit creates endangered animal line stamps to raise awareness.
The Mainichi has also reported that an environmental nonprofit organization has created endangered animal stamps for Line, Japan's most popular messaging app, to raise awareness about the creatures in anticipation of World Wildlife Day.
The line stamps created by the organization, Ecology Online, feature 16 endangered animal species, including AA and Varaz civica, which are native to the island of Madagascar, as well as the Amami rabbit, short-tailed wallaby, and rusty spotted cat.
Rusty spotted cat?
That's a
Wouldn't
weird
mind
name.
one of those. Those are cool spots. Yeah, they're rusty and endangered. Sounds like something Joe Exotic would have.
Yeah.
Ecology Online director Yutaka Kamioka, 61 years old, commented, quote, The wildlife crisis is a biodiversity crisis, and in the background lies climate change, including global warming, as well as global environmental issues such as forest destruction. We hope the animal stamps will trigger people to think about these problems.
The set of 40 line stamps is priced at 120 yen, about $1, or 50 line coins.
Those line coins, they're like endangered species, because it's so hard to get them.
Is it really pretty hard? I haven't tried, actually.
So there are actually ways you can get the line coins without paying money, but you have to do like these really annoying things, like answer a bunch of surveys.
Does Line distribute them, or can a partner business distribute them? Like, could if you had your own business, could you like launch a bunch of campaigns that gave customers Line coins?
Well, I heard a guy who knows a guy who's got a bunch of line coins that are about to fall off the back of this here truck. But if you want to know, you got to, fork over some real coins, eh?
This isn't a cryptocurrency, right?
Nope. So proceeds from the sale of these line stamps will be used for purposes including Ecology Online's activities in Madagascar.
I mean, I think this is pretty cool personally. I'm a fan of line stamps, and actually this will get people thinking about it just because of the mere popularity of, different line stamps. And whenever somebody uses a new one that you've never seen before, everyone's like, "Oh, what collection is that?"
Ha! You see my rusty spotted cat? Well, I enjoy protecting endangered species. Thank you very much.
I donated $1. That's 120 yen to that cause.
Hey, well, it's a start.
Yeah, it's a start. If you get 1 million people to do it, $1 million.
That's a lot of rusty spotted cats.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take over Line. All right, and coming up next, we have a special interview with a frequent contributor to Tokyo Wave, Matt Ketchum. You're now listening to Tokyo Wave.
Matt, welcome back on the show.
Hello. How are things?
Things are all right. What's going on with you, Matt? What you been up to recently?
A lot of skiing, a lot of travel, a lot of camping, a lot of crypto stuff, actually.
Yeah, you just said before we started that you just finished crypto school. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. I guess I should probably start this off that anything that I say is not financial advice, so please don't be a fucking idiot and whatever. So I guess a little bit of background, though. I've, in various ways and various ways, I've been involved with crypto for, I don't know, like 7 years, probably since around like 2015 or so. So I'm like familiar with stuff. I even worked in crypto for a little bit when I was over in Seattle on interoperability protocols. Anyway, crypto's like that's really how that sigh that I just let out is very much kind of how I feel about crypto. It's very interesting, right? Like I enjoy and have considerable, kind of expectations for the technology in principle. And the major problems that come up and kind of make me sigh so heavily are 100% introduced by humans and kind of how they interact with all this stuff. So, yeah.
What, like buying Lamborghinis and whatnot?
And just being kind of the main, I think, problem can be boiled down to the garbage in, garbage statement of garbage in, garbage out. Like you can have as good and secure a network, be it a blockchain or not, as possible, right? But if you're still inputting, if the user, aka humans, is still inputting either bad or faulty or somehow just like not good intel or info, well, that's just now it's introduced to the system. The system's going to do what it's going to do, but even on the other side of it, like that's still shit info, right? So you got to be careful of that. Anyway, so I've been operating crypto for a while, and recently there were two offerings that came out. One was from MIT, And then there was another one from the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business.
The Wharton School. Holy shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's like one of the best, if not the best, business schools.
Isn't that where Trump went?
Probably, yeah. But anyway, so I stumbled across this opportunity, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Not in the sense that I was particularly looking for kind of new educational resources for myself. Like I know how to find the things that I'm looking for. Right? Like I kind of don't need help with that. But what I was curious about is like, whoa, wait, holy shit. Like these are respected institutes of like a pretty high caliber to boot that have like official offerings in crypto, which, 5 years ago had been like, what the fuck are they thinking? So I was very curious, not so much about the content specifically of the course, but more like the structure of the course, as well as the structure of the content that was, the curriculum, as it were. So I signed up. It was neat because they accept ETH for payment.
Did you pay in ETH?
I did pay in ETH. That was a typically crypto exchange. It did not go smoothly at all. But it ultimately went through. And so, that was good. And I mean, that's the thing too with crypto, right? Like if you're in it to be like serious and expect things to work, you're in the entirely wrong ecosystem. Like you need to take it with a very large grain of salt. And also expect like just 100% risk. Like nothing is certain, right? If you're cool with that, then it's a fun place to play around in. But if you're, kind of a risk averse sort of person or, just for whatever reason are very high strung, it's probably a relatively uncomfortable space to be in.
That's probably why I don't have any crypto.
It's also just a really, really difficult system to get signed up in. This is kind of jumping ahead of where I was going, but as an American citizen specifically, setting up crypto accounts in foreign countries with domestic products is exceedingly difficult. Right, you will run into all kinds of problems when trying to get that done. Ultimately, you can do it. I successfully did. Finally, I was on what's it called? The wonderfully hackable CoinCheck.
Oh, CoinCheck,
right? Which is its own can of worms. But yeah, so I paid 0.8 ETH, which is a lot of money for what this offering was. If you think about it, so I think at the time it was somewhere near $4,000, which for a 6-week certification course is kind of like, and I do believe it was about because you could pay in cash as well. I think it was $4,000. And I went into that knowing it, thinking like, okay, this is sort of expensive, but I'm dreadfully curious. I need to know what this is. And so I signed up, paid for it. Everything ultimately got sorted out. And yeah, ask me questions about the course. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, Matt, my biggest question is, before the course, you knew quite a lot about crypto, metaverse, Web3. Did the course offer anything new that you can tell us about that you learned, or
no? It was there was some good stuff on regulatory proceedings. I also must say that as an American citizen who lives outside of the U.S., I think all of us probably are a little bit more sensitive to whenever we encounter kind of like hyper Americocentrism. So the course is very much geared towards the American crypto environment. Right. It was not. Japan never came. Oh, actually, Japan did come up. Why did it come up? It only came up once, and I can't remember why. There was very little. I mean, it was strange that you didn't hear anything about Switzerland, which is where the Ethereum Foundation, or is that the Ethereum? Anyway, Zug. I forget who's there, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Zug in Switzerland is a very important name. That never came up. So there was a lot. It was a very American course, which isn't to say a bad thing, merely just kind of something that I noticed.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense for it to be kind of a weird part of that curriculum because, crypto is so global, and even like the dev community is like literally everywhere in the world, like even developing countries and whatnot, right?
Well, and it is a bit odd that, so the regulatory environment for crypto in the States is really quite complex. It's not, I support that complexity, but at the same time, I also am like, oh yeah, that's definitely getting in the way of development. Right. And so one thing, again, not like a judgment call or anything, but just sort of a critique or something that I noticed was like, well, gee, if you're working with a bunch of American students who are interested in crypto, but they're like all across the board frustrated with American crypto business, why would you not introduce things that are kind of more easy to access, right? So there were a few. I also must state this is the first class that was ever held. So I also went into it knowing, or at least expecting, like, okay, it's probably not going to be, perfect or anything like that. And it wasn't. I think that the offering is very good for really kind of somebody who is not at all familiar with crypto, which immediately made me think, well, wait, hold up. So like, my judgment is that the curriculum it's a pretty good intro, right? It's all of the information you could find elsewhere, though, but it is put into a curriculum.
So this is one of those classes where, like, we all know, when we talk to our folks back home or friends elsewhere, we talk about crypto, Bitcoin, like nobody has a lot of people have no idea what it is.
This would be a pretty good. This would serve that function
right on,
rather well, and it would
and it's a little bit more prestigious than the University of Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly right. But it did one of many funny things that kind of made me turn my head and say, "Huh?" Was okay. It is a good intro course, but if it's an intro course, presumably that means most of the people who would be participating require an intro, which means why would they be holding ETH? Which means, wait, hold up. Why are you accepting ETH for payment?
They want to get some more ETH.
Exactly. Right. I'm pretty sure it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to say it, but.
Well, and so that's the thing that also stuck out in this course is there was this one blockchain that I had never heard of called Algorand, ALGORAND.
Was this?
Turns out that it's affiliated with one of the mathematics professors at the University of Pennsylvania who was part of this course. So I figure that they just said like, "Hey, we got a chant. Like, you want to get on this?" And so there was a little bit of pushing of Algorand, which I was not the only person to notice this. What else? The communication platform definitely had kind of some issues. So I actually set up my own Discord server to host all of the students on so that we could actually have real-time communications.
Oh, cool.
Which was excellent. One of the best things. And hey, University of Pennsylvania, if you're listening right now, start a fucking Discord server and encourage your students to actually like have discourse about this stuff. Don't just sit in front of a screen. That was really valuable. Everybody who was participating in that seemed to really enjoy it. They were, kind of vocal in their appreciation of it. It's actually still ongoing, even though the course has ended. What else? Yeah, so it was, I think by and large for me, it was most interesting though, seeing kind of how this is being conducted. Another thing that was interesting, and it's not the University of Pennsylvania's fault, is that by their nature, curriculi are dated. And so there's a lot of readings in this course, right?
Yeah.
And so especially nearer to the end of the course, I started noticing like, holy shit, this article was written last January. And if we're talking about, I don't know, like chicken farming or something, okay, that presumably doesn't change very quickly, but this is fucking crypto. Like it changes by the second. Why am I reading I read this a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. So also I think something that honestly, I think sounds kind of like a fun proposition is like, given the speed of evolution of something like crypto, how do you construct a curriculum to successfully and effectively teach it such that it's I mean, basically needs to be in real time, right? If you have all these dated articles, it's not to say that the dated articles aren't good. It's merely that, whoa, a year ago? Like, do you have any idea how much has changed since last week? Why am I reading a year-old document?
Right.
So that, I think, is also an interesting like an interesting, maybe not problem, but like quality to the nature of institutional crypto institutional crypto education.
Maybe an opportunity for someone who's looking.
Oh, believe me, I'm already considering this.
So, changing subjects, also recently you hit the ski slopes up in Nozawa Onsen. Did you see any cool akiyas up there?
Actually, I was not hunting. So I don't know. Presumably we did. I was there with my girlfriend. Gotta say, first time in Nozawa Onsen, right? You hear a lot. We've got some clients that are interested in the area. From a business point of view, especially real estate point of view, holy fucking shit. Nozawa Onsen is a pain in the ass like you cannot believe to get in, right? And so I kind of had a little bit of a bad impression of the place. But then I went there. It's pretty great. I get it.
When you say pain in the ass, you mean like
it's an extremely tightly knit community that if you're not part of, and particularly if you're looking for relocation or real estate, it's going to be a process. It's going to be a very, very, very lengthy process. And it's a great place. If you don't like shoveling snow, you probably shouldn't be there. Cause it's snowy. But yeah, the slopes there were great. I got stuck I didn't get stuck, but I got caught in a blizzard when I got to the mountaintop. And this is like a 2,700 foot mountain, or I think, is it 2,700 meters? Anyway, it's a mountain. It's tall. And so I remember like it was my last run. I'm at the crest of the mountain and I've got like a meter of visibility and I'm like, all right, like I'm on top of a mountain. Like what else am I gotta go. So, okay, let's do this. And I'm skiing, it was like a 20-minute or so descent. Could not see fucking anything, which was interesting too. Cause like I had to, sort of adjust, like I could see the markers on the side. Like if you went over, you would fall to your death. So I could see that. And so I used that to navigate. And occasionally, I could see trees and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of, but the whole time down, I'm thinking like, all right, dude, like seriously pay attention. Like do not die up here.
That always gets me, man. I mean, some of the slopes here in Japan, I remember going skiing and while we were on the lift, it said that if you fall into one of those areas where you could die, the helicopter is going to cost $220,000. I'm like, holy shit.
That sounds like American healthcare.
Yeah, I know. So that instantly...
You have to pay for the helicopter?
They say... So I've talked to a friend who fell. Yeah. Definitely.
That was a beer.
Yeah, sounded like one. I talked to a friend who fell.
That was a beer slurp.
Yeah. So Matt's just drinking a beer on his own over here. A friend fell down and was lifted up by a helicopter. He did not pay the $220,000 fee, but it is, I think, kind of the law or something.
Yeah, that doesn't. Just try not to do that. I feel like that's just it.
Yeah, don't make the helicopters come for you. That's not cool.
Somebody did die when we were up there, though. Yeah, they froze to death on a different mountain. On starts with an M.
Guys, I'm telling you, the slopes here they're dangerous. They're not dangerous. They're just like extreme. Like snowboarders from all over the world come to Japan. I mean,
I get it. Like
well,
there's a reason
it's kind of funny because you think like Japan is such a safe country and there are not so many dangers around you in normal daily life. But then you go to ski country and it's like, oh, you might die. Be careful.
And that's the thing too, like totally these, like the reference points that I had on, like literally those are just like sticks, like red sticks on the side. Like they will not, even when there was a net or fence or something, I mean, it was the flimsiest thing. It had no meaning other than visual. Like it would not save you. If you run into that thing, you're going over.
That's what you get in a country where you can't really sue for damages.
Yeah. But no, Nozawa Onsen was absolutely great. Some really excellent craft beer up there. Oh, the food was really nice. One of the really nice things about the area is I think it's 13 public open, free onsen, Nozawa Onsen, right? That you can just walk into. They are not like fully equipped. It's literally just the hot spring. Like
So you got to bring a towel.
You got to bring a towel. They don't even really have like the shower stations. It's just like a spigot.
Oh my gosh.
Thing. Most of them don't have even like stools or anything.
Welcome to Japan.
So like
Mr.
it's pretty rural and hot. But it was great. Like, talk about romantic. Like, my girlfriend and I, we'd go out for dinner, or we went out for dinner this one night. Excellent place called Minato, highly recommended. Had our dinner there, had a few drinks, walking back in the snow after a full day of, wonderful skiing and almost dying. And then, like, we'd actually already been on as we were walking there, we went to one of the onsen, but, after a 3-hour dinner and however many drinks, kind of tired and a little bit drunk, stumbling home. And we passed this onsen and she just like points it out, not really thinking. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's nice. And then we keep walking and then both of us kind of stop and are like, wait a minute, do you want to go into that one too? And so we just like went back and went to the onsen.
Another one. It's like
Nice.
DJ Khaled's onsen trip.
Yeah, so it was great. We stayed at a place called Miyazawa. The booking process for Miyazawa was great. Kind of a long story. Things got a little bit messy for a minute. I saved the day. Go me. Miyazawa is also great. Everything is included. They have all the ski rental stuff if you need it. They sell the ski tickets. You actually get discounted ski lift tickets if you buy through them.
Is it like a ryokan or like a hotel?
It's what do they call it? Like a pension kind of. It's very like rustic and like it's just a bunch of people staying.
So it's like
together
a B&B. I love how they call B&Bs in Japan pensions.
Yeah. It's very much not. There's very little privacy. I'll say that. So if you're looking for like a luxurious getaway escape kind of thing, there's other places that you should go to. But if you're looking for a ski trip on the cheap, they've got great food there too. Miyazawa it's like a 5-minute walk literally from the ski lift. So that was great.
In the snow.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I was up there. I did a call with a client because I was skiing and then I was like, oh, I've got that client call. And so then I just came down off the mountain, went into my room, did the client call, and then went back onto the slopes. It's teleworking at its finest. Right.
She's just FaceTimed with him when you're going down the slopes. Like, I'm about to die, but how are you?
I know some people that would probably do something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So yeah, Nozawa Onsen. It's a great place. You should check it out.
Right on. Matt, also, you just picked up a Suzuki Jimny, Japan's most awesome mini 4x4.
That is correct.
Are you happy with the purchase?
Extremely. It's great. It's very good. It's very versatile. I live in a very hilly area, mountainous even. So having 4-wheel drive is a net positive, I would say. So Jimny, it's good. It's black. It's got a dent in it. I didn't put it there. I bought it used. Whatever. I don't care. I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, man. Like, I don't think that having like a pristine Porsche kind of really makes sense with where I live. So that's good.
That's what I love about used cars. It's like someone has messed them up for you so that you don't feel bad when you mess it up.
Exactly. It's great.
Good point.
Pre-loved.
Yeah. So that's actually really good because now I can get over to the farm a lot more often and more easily.
Speaking of farms, I saw on your Instagram that your farm just welcomed a baby goat. How's goat fatherhood going?
That is a great question. I'm largely absent.
You're a deadbeat dad. Deadbeat goat dad.
In fact, I forget its name. I don't think, have we named it yet? I don't know. It is a boy. I do know that.
It doesn't even have a name, man.
Name it Billy.
Yeah, right. That's actually not a bad idea. But the father is Anko and the mom is Bambi. They got to business real quick. Honestly, I didn't even know she was pregnant. Like suddenly we just had this baby goat and I'm like,
Hey Siri, how do you know when a goat is pregnant?
Yeah. So yeah, she's got that cute as a button. Already likes jumping on stuff. Has a chicken friend. Popo the chicken and Nameless Goat are getting along mighty fine. Anko the father seems to be rather attentive. Bambi, of course, is always right next to little goaty goatee goat, goat side.
Goatee.
Yeah.
That's another good goat name.
So yeah, people love baby goats. Tell you what, they are, and for good reason. You know, they're cute. They're not that loud. They're relatively low maintenance if you have a junk farm to put them on. Also, I recommend the goat fatherhood.
Matt, you really are living the Harvest Moon Stardew Valley life, yeah?
Yeah, I really am.
Just hearing you talk about all these different animals that you're taking care of and their interactions just sounds like a 1990s Japanese video game.
Well, it could. I mean, yeah, it is really. I live in a video game. I've made my world into a video game. We need more animals though. So the goats are good. I think we might be getting a horse.
A horse.
Oh,
What kind of
wow.
horse?
Not sure yet. There's 2 people that we can source from in Yugawara though.
Source a horse.
Yeah, I can get you a horse and goats. In fact, I can make goats for you now.
How did you do that?
I got so good at goats, I can make them.
I believe that's called animal husbandry is the word that we're looking, or the phrase that we're reaching for. I never thought that would be part of my career trajectory. Animal husbandry. What's that? Oh, you mean goat fucking.
You know, you don't got to buy a horse, right? You can just make it. You out-of-towners coming in here trying to buy up all the horses. You can just make them. Don't you know anything about farming or life, kid? What country you from again?
Yeah, so the goats are going well. The farm, I mean, it's still winter, so like we don't really have anything planted. But now with the Jimny, I feel like I have no excuse to not really get that Inakabad going with all the shoveling and, you know, just doing shit. Because now I can, like I said, now I can get there pretty easily. I don't think I ever regaled you on just how difficult it is to get to that farm. And doing it on a bike is no small order.
Wow.
So, Aaron, to celebrate the purchase of Matt's Jimny, I bought him the best Jimny accessory in existence.
The Jimny stereo system?
No, it's a shovel that you can put on the back of the Jimny.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen those cars
Yes.
and they've got like the diagonal shovel on the back?
Yes,
Now
yes.
Matt's got one.
Whoa.
And I've got also, I went crazy because again, now I have like portable room to put stuff. So I went and bought really just a whole lot of camping gear. Actually, I think I have a little bit more to buy because second to last time I went camping, I had my mind on this and yet I just didn't do it. And so we went camping and there was some dew on the tent and then we had to leave. So I packed the tent up and I was like, oh, you got to air that thing out. Otherwise it's going to get some mold on it. Of course I did not. And so I recently went solo camping with all of my new camping gear. And sure enough, I opened up the tent and there's a bunch of, it doesn't smell bad or anything, but it's got like the black dots.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. So I need to either figure out a way to clean all of that or buy another one.
Japan, man, a lot of stuff gets molded out here. It's wild.
That is true.
Yeah. You gotta.
Top
and-
Tokyo Wave tip. Don't leave your wet tent in the bag.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, don't leave anything wet anywhere in your apartment either.
Unless you like mold, in which case, do that a lot.
The spot that I went camping to was kind of cool. Or could have been. I'm a little bit, what's the word? Split, I guess, on it. So it's a Yugawara place. It's called Kamiya. And it's run by kind of a local onsen magnate. And one of their big things, in fact, their big thing is that it's an onsen campground, right? So hot springs and stuff. And so I went there once to just like check it out, but I didn't stay. And I went to go see the outdoor baths, the Rotenburo. And it was very obvious of like, oh, okay, this is still in construction. Like it's not yet complete, but it's still the facilities are open. You can camp there. And so I've been actually wanting to host a camping event in Yugawara for a while. And so I was looking at this place and then just recently I was like, well, shit, I'd be kind of dumb if I just hosted an event at a place that I've never stayed before. So I should probably go like stay a night. I don't want to speak so ill of the place, but like they talk a big talk and really do not very much walk that walk.
Yeah, and campgrounds in Japan are surprisingly expensive.
For like full access, so like parking, campground itself, and use of the onsen facilities, which I'll get to in a moment. It was rounding up. It was like 6,000 yen per person.
Wow.
I do believe that that'll go down the more people you have staying with you. So just have a group. But yeah, I think it was like 46.50 or something like that for the camp plot. And then if you wanted to go to the onsen, it was an additional 888 or 880 yen. And so, like I said previously, I had looked at the Rotenburo and like they weren't operational. And so prior to this, I actually asked them, yeah, what's up with the outdoor baths? And they were like, oh yeah, they're not done yet. And then I asked, understandably, I think, when are they going to be done? And they were like, we don't know. And I was like, that's odd. Okay, whatever. So do you have onsen of any kind available? And they were like, oh yeah, we've got like the indoor ones. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It'd be nice if the outdoor ones were there, but hey, they got indoor onsen. It's fine. And so I get to the campground. I book my night. And they're kind of showing me around, and it's an onsen campground. I don't even have to mention this for it to come up. And, I mean, it's legit, like basically like the family's bathroom.
So it's not like a fancy onsen.
No. It's like a bathroom, basically. And you had to sign up on. There was like a schedule for it, and so I got there like 3 p.m. I was not late, and the earliest one that I could get in was 11 p.m.
Wow.
So yeah, there's that. The kitchen is very nice. One thing that pissed me off though, and we see this with Akiya as well, is it would have been it still is a beautiful location, but they basically clear cut the whole campground. So you've got all these, low to the ground, just horizontal stubs of trees.
It's like stumps.
Yeah, stumps. And I mean, some of them sure would have made sense to cut no matter what. A lot of them, though, it's kind of like, well, you would have had just like a nice grove here. Were you not thinking? Why did you do that? So it's really kind of an unsightly, the view is kind of nice, over the mountains and stuff, but the campsite itself is actually, it almost felt industrial, which is not like what you want in camping.
Yeah, also I think for 6,000 yen, Japan's famous El Cheapo hotel chain, Itoen Hotels, you can stay a night there per person, 8,800 yen, and it includes 2 meals.
Right.
And all you can drink.
I did not know that.
You learned a thing.
Okay, I might be staying at Itoen tonight. So yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming.
Interesting. Guys, when I think of camping, I just think of being in college, being in Orlando, Florida, and, you drive out an hour outside of Orlando and it's just all forests. And nobody knows what the hell's going on in any of those woods or forests.
I hear there's gators.
Yeah, everything, And it's like you and like 10, 20 friends. Maybe everybody has a tent to sleep in, maybe not. Lots of alcohol, people passing out outside of the tent, people throwing up inside of the tent. So this is what I think of when I think of camping. I don't know.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah. When I think of camping, I also recall back to my time in America in high school and going out with my friends. Everyone's like, yeah, let's go camping. I'm like, all right, I'll come with you. And then all of the traditional camping things happen and everyone retires to their tent and I sleep in my car.
Oh yeah, that's another. Yeah,
I don't do tents. Yeah, I don't do tents.
A lot of people sleep in the car. Yeah. I mean, like
a good tent is nice, and I gotta say one of the things that I really do like about it is like setting up the campsite. There's a certain pride that comes in, like, all right, good job.
So I hate that. I hate setting
really.
Up. Yeah.
Well, it did suck this time. So going back to the trees, right? Trees are important for a number of reasons. One of which is as windbreakers, right? And this happened to be an incredibly gusty weekend last weekend. And so, and
sounds cool.
And I'm solo camping too, so it's not like I have somebody to like hold shit down for me or anything. So getting my tent set up was, I give credit to the other people in the campsite across from me for not just like laughing constantly as it got blown over.
Oh, they were laughing. You just didn't see it.
Yeah.
They were laughing inside.
Yeah. So there was that. So I'm thinking about trying another spot this weekend. Because honestly, as much as I want to support local businesses, it's like, guys, your marketing says that you have A and you're selling B. Like what you're advertising is not what you're selling. So that's kind of not cool.
That's too bad. This is totally off topic, but I cannot help but say, Matt, you have a farm.
Oh, I can camp there too, yeah.
No. You have a farm?
Yeah.
And you've got a Jimny.
Right.
It's got 4x4.
True.
What if you put a plow on the back of it?
To like plow the farm?
With the Jimny.
I don't think we could do that. I don't think I can get it in there.
Oh.
Yeah. There might be an access point. I'll have to look. Yeah.
I mean, not to say that it would actually be a good idea, just it would make a really cool YouTube video.
Yeah, we'd probably have to remove some piping. But
gotta remove some pipe.
Yeah, well, I mean, because basically we've got like abandoned greenhouses, right? And so they have like the framing and stuff, but the vinyl is all, so they're like open house. So we basically just have to like cut a hole in some of the piping.
Oh, here's an idea. You've got a Jimny. You've got a bunch of stuff that needs to be knocked down. Yes. You got any rope?
Yes, actually, that was when I bought a bunch of camping gear. I made sure to buy a number of different kinds of rope and twine as well as plastic.
Well, so you attach one side of the rope to the stuff you want to knock down, and you attach the other side of the rope to the Jimny.
Ooh, I want to be there for that.
Okay, we'll start with the goats.
Oh no! Gosh.
Come on, Jimny Demolition YouTube series now playing.
Yeah, it's like. Did either of you ever work in a kitchen? Specifically with a fryer?
Not with the fryer, no.
Okay, because if you ever work in a kitchen and it has a fryer, you try frying pretty much everything. Kleenex, lemons.
Oh my gosh!
Don't do ice. It's a bad idea. So this is similar.
If we've just ruined fast food for you, thank your stomach later.
Yeah, this is kind of like the gym. We've got a Jimny. We've got some rope. What can't we pull over? Lemons.
I like that tree.
It's coming down.
Looks like there's oranges on that tree.
To the Jimny. Maybe I've been watching too much Clarkson episodes.
That does sound like something that he would do.
So, Matt, before we go, do you have anything you want to shout out? Any projects you're working on right now?
Well, the Akiya and Inaka newsletter has just gone out today, and you should all of our listeners should sign up for it to see the amazing activities that we're up to with rural Japan. That usually includes a Spotify playlist that we've been listening to as we conduct our research. Usually includes local businesses that you can go and check out and be a customer of. Sometimes it includes our own YouTube content of us exploring abandoned houses or countryside. Sometimes it's other people's YouTube content. Like this week, it's John Daub of Only in Japan, who did a very good, 27, I think, minute video of some people who have moved out to the countryside and have started craft beer breweries and things like that. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of content that's really kind of aimed more at painting a more dynamic picture of what akiya can do rather than just saying, hey, we got houses, come and buy one.
For sure. It sounds like a whole different lifestyle and world that people that live in Tokyo are unaware of.
By and large, yeah.
Baby goats.
If only for the baby goats. You can have baby goats in Inaka. You cannot have baby goats in Tokyo.
No way. I
can't imagine.
So the Akiya Inaka newsletter, keep an eye out for it.
You can sign up for that on our website at www.akiyainaka.com. That's akiyainaka.com.
Thanks, Matt, for coming back on.
As always, thank you for such a wonderful time.
Hey listeners, that's right, you listener right there.
Who do you think should be our next guest on Tokyo Wave? Let us know. Drop us a line at wave@tokyowave.jp.
We hope you enjoyed Tokyo Wave.
If you haven't already, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Join us again next week on Tokyo Wave.